So after God appears to Gideon, he says, how am I going to do this? You're telling me to save Israel, but my clan is the poor clan. We live in the ghetto in the hood, and we're not anything. And then not only that, he was the least. He was his little brother. There's big brother, who could tackle him, take him down. Why not that guy? Instead, it was Gideon that the Lord appeared to. So I hope that helps us, because you may think of Gideon as some kind of superhero. He actually was not. He was like me. He was like you. And some other instances, if you read Judges, he asked Jehovah, I know you're saying you're with me, but I want you to show me some signs that you're with me. So what he asked was, he took some fleece, he put it somewhere, and he asked that it would be wet and that everything around it would be dry. Maybe some of us know the story. And that happened, and then he was like, oh, okay, that's great. Can we do it one more time? So it happened a second time, right? Then there's another episode where Gideon was asked to throw down one of the altars of the worship of another god, And if you read, he did it at night. And it tells you why he did it at night, because he was afraid. He was afraid that someone would say something to him. And then there was another time where God told him, you have to go to the enemy's camp. The enemy's camp. And when you go, if you're afraid, Jehovah says, if you're afraid, you could take your young man, his name is Peruah. You could take him with you. And so if you read it, he takes Peruah with him, so it's so you can see who Gideon was. He's not a superhero, okay? He's not. But the Lord had a way to accomplish what he wanted through such a person. Are you scared sometimes? Yes. Am I scared standing up? Yes. But the Lord has a way. The Lord has a way, okay? And this is what an example of an overcomer is, right?
And Jehovah said to Gideon, the people with you are too many for me to deliver Gideon into their hand. Israel might vaunt himself against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Now then proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, whoever is afraid and trembling should return and depart from here. And 22,000 of the people returned, and 10,000 remained. Then Jehovah said to Gideon, the people are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. And he of whom I say to you, this one shall go with you, he shall go with you. And every one of whom I say to you, this one shall not go with you, he shall not go. So he brought the people down to the water. And Jehovah said to Gideon, everyone who laps from the water with his tongue, as a dog laps, you shall set apart. Likewise everyone who bows down on his knees to drink. And the number of those who lapped the water into their mouth with their hand was 300 men. But the rest of the people bowed down on their knees to drink water. And Jehovah said to Gideon, through the 300 men who lapped, I will save you, and I will deliver Gideon into your hand. But let all the other people go, each to his own place.
Okay, so this is a very interesting scene. With Gideon, God called him after he threw the idol away and tore down the altars. He sounded a trumpet. And even before he sounds that trumpet, after he cut down that idol, it says, if you read carefully, that the Midianites, the ones who oppressed, they showed up. They showed up and they encamped close by. They were ready to put down whatever was going to happen. And so it's interesting. If the Midianites who were oppressing God's people, they were a huge army. A huge army. It says they were like locusts. And that group of people came not because there was an army. It was because it was of one man. Just one man, Gideon, when he tore down that idol. So this shows you something of a warfare in the background. So what God did was he charged Gideon regarding the formation of an army. And when Gideon sounded a trumpet, about 32,000 or so rose up and volunteered and said, we'll fight. Okay? We'll fight. And then if you read through this portion, God says that's too many. That's too many. Why would God say that that's too many? Right? Because the number of Midian is at least 150,000 plus. But God says it's not too many. I mean, he said too many, too many, too many. You know, I don't need that much. The reason why God says that is because the point is, it's not Gideon who fights the battle. And it's not you who fights the battle for God's move. It's God who fights the battle. God does it. Okay? So he doesn't need, but he had someone who cooperated with him, but it was God who would fight the battle for him. Okay? So that's what he was saying. And he said, he said, those who are afraid, you know, ask. If they're afraid, it's okay, they go home. So he asked, and quite a number were afraid, and they went home. And then 10,000 were left. 10,000 were left. And then God said, still too many, right? Still too many. And then he says, now I will do a test. And he does an interesting test, right? He does this water test, if you can call it a water test. And he says, take them to the water, whoever drinks, and then I'll tell you which ones are going to fight. And eventually only 300 were selected to fight. 300, okay? Now, when they're drinking the water, you know, is of course like a body of water spring where they were at. Some drank like this, you know, with their head all the way here, right? Like a dog, right? And some drank like this, right? Some drank with their hand. So what's the difference between me drinking like this and me doing this? What do you notice? Can you see my eyes when I do this? You can't see my eyes, right? Can you see my face? Where's my attention? It's right here. Okay? So this is a test regarding man's daily living. Now, water, right? Drinking is a basic daily need, a necessity. We all have to do it. That's why we're here in college. We're trying to get, you know, education, get a good job, so that we can, you know, eventually afford money, afford a home, right? Health care insurance, and take care of our kids, right? Get married, have, you know. There's a need. Those are daily necessities, would you say, right? Daily necessities. Now, those who drank the water like this, their intention, their whole being was involved in their daily necessity. But the ones who drank like this, their eyes were where? Somewhere else. They weren't here. They were looking here. Why were they looking this way? Because they were an army, and they were there for not for themselves but for God. They realized my living, okay, I do have to drink. They did drink. They weren't monks. They did their thing. They went to USC. They did things, right? They did some drinking, okay? They did that. But they were restrained in their drinking because of their burden and their love for whatever God was doing. So when they went to class, they took care, they did their homework, they did their things, right? They went to the TA session. But as they're at the TA session, where are their eyes? Like this. Oh, that guy, he looks so sad. I need to pray for him. You know, this guy in my class, I need to talk to him about the Lord. You know, or, you know, oh, tonight should I go to the Bible study? Okay, I have to, so I got to finish my homework. Okay, I'll go, you know. See how their eyes, you know, there's a test there. And the ones who had their attention not invested in that were the ones who passed. And this is the army that became the overcoming army for God's purpose.